Today is June 28th, 2012. Super Cheetah, Bill Thomas, #1 prototype. We're going to be reviewing some tubing that we have to cut out to remove the body, inspecting the bulkhead on the firewall. That's just about 8 Phillips screws, 4 in the fire. That's the firewall right there, and then there's 4 on the back side. Two and 2 over there. This tubing we're going to cut out, it's supporting the roof. There's some clecos, but we're going to cut out just down here at this corner. We're going to cut so on both sides, and then there's rivets. It's riveted to this cross section of tubing. So we're going to drill these rivets out, remove clecos down below. They're very hard to get out. Most of them are stuck. So we're going to have to maybe cut those off. Aluminum is screwed on this side. We also got some clecos here, holding the roof onto the roll bar. So they've made it easier. They've got a rear pan removable that is out right now. So we're going to remove this tubing also that holds the rear of Super Cheetah body up in the air off the chassis, so we can lift this body off. There's all kinds of extra plumbing tubing in here. We're going to get rid of all the tubes that don't need to be in here. Then we're going to lift the body off and then videotape again the bare chassis. Here's the plywood floor pieces they set in. They had some seats in here just so people could sit in it once in a while, get some photographs. The other day we removed the block. These are some temporary forward engine mounts. That's all that was really here, and then it was attached to the wooden bulkhead with screws, and then there's a block it's sat on all these years since '64. There's even a chain hanging down there. They were just temporary. So this is the engine bay now. Less the early 327 Chevrolet engine. You can see the steering rack. Different from the first design Cheetahs for sure. Here we have some clecos coming through the body. I have to remove all these clecos also. All attaching clecos, screws, I'm going to remove and cut some tubing out. So when I cut the tubing out, it's going to be too loud for the cameras. But you can actually see the screws that are screwed into this plate that are clecoed to the roll hoop. This side has more of a wheel well to it. They got a little farther with this one. So this is the opening for the passenger side. We also have just one cleco down here to remove. Up front is all loose. It's just laying on the top of the chassis. And I just put a little piece of carpet in there in Tennessee before I loaded it into the U-Haul. So there's nothing attached up front any longer. There was some clecos holding that panel to the nose. They are gone. So the nose is not attached. Firewall bulkhead is attached, but the wood is just laying on top of the chassis. So not too much work. And then we can lift it off and get a better view of the chassis and the underside of this body for the first time since '64. So here we go. More documentation. This extra cross shaft tube from left to right. It's also temporary, but they left it in there to keep the tubing square. So I'm going to leave that in there until we get the main forward roll hoop installed. So you can see this tubing is just kind of tacked in place. So all that extra tubing is coming out. Have to remove these screws. Screwed right into the wood support on the tubing inside. Okay, there she is. The left rear of Super Cheetah. Okay, stay tuned. Next video we'll be pulling the body off. I'm not going to videotape cutting the tubes. Like I said, it's just too loud, too annoying for the camera. We're going to use a sawzall to cut off close to the chassis, and then it'll have to be ground clean. So, okay folks. This is actually video number 5 of Super Cheetah. Okay, you have it. Thanks folks. Stay tuned.